Okay, it's time to start applying a little bit of Tru Oil to the stock. So for my first coat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to thin it down a little bit. To thin it down I'm using white spirit. And I want a tiny bit, so very small amount. Into there we can put a little bit of Tru Oil. And just mix that together. And what I want this to do is I want it to soak into the wood and seal everything. Okay, ready to go. Thinned out Tru Oil, lint free cloth. Okay, so I've got my thinned out Tru Oil. Now the other thing I've done is I've got this suspended from the roof, just a simple screwdriver on a rope going through the 4-inch stock screw holes, and at the bottom here I've just screwed on a plastic bracket just so that I can lift it around like that without having to touch the finish. Not important at this stage, but nice to have for when we get to the and when it's wet it's bringing out that kind of reddy colour, which is kind of what I wanted. Ideally, hopefully, when it's done, it'll have a sort of really deep reddy brown kind of lustre to it. So this is how I've got it set up. Just a screwdriver through the holes for the fore end and I've screwed on a plastic bracket on the bottom. I'm using some nice lint-free cloth to apply the thinned down Tru Oil, and as you'd expect it soaks into the end grain up the top here really fast, because that's, well, end grain's always going to soak in more until it's properly sealed. So I'm just applying a fairly liberal coat of this thinned down Tru Oil, just to get the colour sealed in and the grain sealed, so that I can start to build up the finish that I want. Really does look quite promising to start with. It's got that nice deep reddy brown colour that I'm after. So leave that to dry. Yeah, come back in a couple of hours. I'm going to make a pad to apply my Tru Oil, so I've just got some of this nice cotton blanket, get rid of these odd bits of string. I don't want any of the furry stuff on the edges getting into my Tru Oil, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pad, which is simply just folding everything into the middle. So all the edges, fold them all into the middle, like that. So there's nothing horrible sticking out the sides. And then you end up with a nice pad that you can apply the Tru Oil with. Now to get to this top end, I'm going to just take it down and apply it nice and thin, because I want to apply thin coats and build them up. I'll get it all around that top edge. So there we are. Leave that to harden, and then it's time for some wet and dry paper. I'm just applying another coat now, just using my finger. Now you can actually feel when you're doing it with your finger where the oil is thick and where it isn't, so you can get a nice even coat on there. So I'll finish doing this this coat of Tru Oil, and then once I've got it all nice and even, I'll start flattening it down with a little bit of very fine wet and dry paper. Right, that coat of Tru Oil's gone nice and hard. So the next stage is I've got a little bit of Tru Oil, some 400 grit wet and dry, and I'm going to work the surface with the wet and dry and the Tru Oil. This will flat down any bits that are sticking up on the original finish. And level it all out. I'll do the forehand first, and I can hang it up again. And this lets me smooth out the finish and get a nice even coat. Okay, hung it back up just so that I can do the back end of the stock, and I'm just finishing it off again with the wet and dry. And the back end of the stock. Now when you're doing this, you can actually see the imperfections in the surface flattening out. Okay. I'm just putting on another coat of Tru Oil with my finger, rubbing it well in, spreading it all around, build up that finish, get it nice and even. We'll see what it looks like and this is done. Already we're beginning to get a nice, more even coat and quite a shine to it. So it's had a couple of 3 coats of Tru Oil, and it's been left overnight this time to harden off, and now what I'm doing is I'm using some very fine wire wool and I'm cutting back that Tru Oil finish to get it nice and flat. I've been doing this 4 or 5 minutes so far, nearly there. Just want to get it so I've got a nice smooth and even finish. So I'll just carry on with this for a couple of minutes to get it how I want. But already you can see, well, I hope you can see, that that is a nice, even, smooth finish. And then I'm going to make up just a different type of pad to wipe on a really fine coat of Tru Oil. Okay, a little bit more wire wooling. I'll just show you this finish. This is straight from the wire wool. All I've done is I've just finished wire wool in it. Just get it a wipe with some tissue, and it's got a nice sort of, well, quite shiny but satin kind of finish to it. The next stage to this is I'm going to again just leave it to harden again a little bit. I want it to be nice and rock hard for the final coatings, which are going to be much thinner. So there we go, we're gaining on it. The stock is now all nicely flattered down, so I want to put on some fine coats of Tru Oil. So what I'm going to do is I've got my lint-free cloth, old cotton blanket, a little bit of tissue paper in the middle just to form a pad like so. So I can stick that in the top of me Tru Oil, get some Tru Oil on there, and then it's a case of working this. Now I'm going to do it as though I'm sort of French polishing, so I'm pressing on hard and I'm spreading that Tru Oil about as much as I can, because it's got to be a thin coat, and you can see that's going a long way. And I'm really pressing on and working that Tru Oil. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but that's just coming up really nice. So I'll finish this off, hang it back up, and we'll see what we're looking like. So here we are. This is the finish straight from the last pad that I showed you, and I'm pretty pleased with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to let it harden off, then I'm going to give it a buff and see what it comes out with. But yeah, that's not bad at all. So there you go, there's the finished item. Well, I say finished, I might at some stage in the future just flat it a little bit more, put a couple of coats more on it, but that is really, really pretty. Nice and shiny, nice and smooth. Just a lovely finish. Vast improvement on the nasty scratched up, banged up stock that it started out as when I first started. So there you go, your Tru Oil finish.